Welcome to tonight's session of the discussion on Ray Global Digital. My name is Lanre Iwaleyin, and I'm delighted to be with you tonight to discuss this very interesting topic tagged as surviving career-related prejudice. We first of all want to take a look at what prejudice is generally about. What does it mean? What does it mean, the word prejudice? Prejudice is an acronym for the word that is coined out from the word prejudge. Prejudge. It means when you judge before you actually get the facts. When you judge because before you know the details. That is what prejudice means. Getting to make decision or judgment on something just before you get the facts, but just before you get to know that thing in details. That is what prejudice actually means. And prejudice can be positive, prejudice can be negative. So if we say you want to survive it, if you are based on the topic of tonight says, how do you survive career-related prejudice? So it means we are looking at prejudice at this point from the negative side. Let's take, for instance, an organization wants to hire a software programmer and they get two resumes, two qualified candidates to interview. One of them is his name is Dinesh, who has an Indian-like name, and the other one is an Emeka, who has a Nigerian or African-like name. There's a general presumption that Indians, they are the ones that controls the IT world. So if an Indian person comes to you and says, I am an IT professional, I'm a software programmer, and a Nigerian comes to you that I'm a software programmer, even if their resumes are the same and they are both qualified, whoever that recruiter is would somehow feel persuaded to hire the Indian guy because there is a presumption that Indians, they are IT gurus, that is what they do, that is their gift naturally. An Indian is automatically an IT expert. So that is what prejudice is about. Now, in this case, there are two people that are being served food from the table of prejudice. One of them is negative and one of them is positive. The Emeka, the Nigerian guy now, who was rejected because there is an Indian guy that is an option. That guy has, how do I put it now? He has become a victim of career-related prejudice. Whereas the Indian guy, Dinesh, now has become a benefactor of career-related prejudice. Now, prejudice by itself is not limited to just one geographical territory. Prejudice is not limited to a racial community. It's not limited to maybe Africa, South Asia, East Asia, North and South America, Central America, Europe. Prejudice is global. Prejudice is global, and there are victims of prejudice on a daily basis, and there are benefactors of career-related prejudice on a daily basis. I opted to talk about this topic strictly because On more than one occasion, I had been a victim of career-related prejudice. And as it is now, with what I have been able to do with myself, with the knowledge that I have acquired on how to overcome this career-related prejudice, I'm better off than how I was, let's say 5-6 years ago. And this is the reason why I think this is a knowledge that I could share with our viewers tonight. All right. It is daring enough for you to leave your comfort zone wherever you are, assuming you are from somewhere in Southeast Asia, one remote community somewhere in Southeast Asia, and you come to a place like Europe to seek greener pasture. Now you are bringing your baggage of wealth, you are bringing your baggage of experience and your skills, because here you are coming to seek opportunity. You know, that audacity that you have demonstrated is enough for any professional recruiter to give you a listening ear. But when you take that giant step, and then you're trying to build a career for yourself, and then you are running into this prejudice, it could dent your morale, it could dent your motivation, and it could land you in places where you never dream of being ever. Okay, now let's delve into the topic. Absolutely. How do you survive career-related prejudice? And what are the things that you should do, and how should you act when you observe that this is a prejudice that is setting you back in your career? This thing is really particular to me, because in the part of the world where I live, I have people who I know very well, who are really talented people, who are career-oriented people, but they came into this part of the world, and the prejudice here against foreigners has worked against them really badly. You know, I've seen people who has PhD degrees, who has 2 or 3 master's degrees, who are still doing the menial jobs in this part of the world. They are still the one cleaning the trains. They are the one mopping the train station. They are the ones that washes dishes in restaurants and in kitchens. These are master's degree holders. Some of them has 2 or 3 master's degree, you know, and they end up doing those kind of job. And the sad part of it, I'm not disrespecting that job now. There's dignity in labor. Any kind of labor you get yourself doing, as far as it is legal, there's dignity in it. But how could you have invested so much in yourself career-wise and you are doing something different? You know, I can guarantee you that whatever that person is doing is not what they intended to do originally. If they had the opportunity to do something related to their field of expertise, which is whatever field they got their master's degree in, they definitely will grab it with both hands. But I've seen some of our folks in this part of the world actually who goes to open a cleaning company, and they are managing their own cleaning company. And doing that, they think it is better to have this job, it is safe and secure. But that is not the career path that they originally intended for themselves. All right. Firstly, how to overcome career-related prejudice. You need to work on yourself. You need to renew your mind. You need to understand that everybody in those career ladder who are going up, they don't have 2 heads. There's nothing they have that you don't have, and there's nothing that you make up your mind to pursue, to achieve, that you cannot achieve. So the first thing to do in surviving career-related prejudice is for you to renew yourself. Understand that whatever career path that you want to follow, you can actually follow it, and you would achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. When you sit around folks who are not as motivated, who are not as career oriented as you are, there is a very strong probability that they would force you to think like them. So, for you to start renewing your mind in this direction, you need to choose the set of people that you hang out with. You need to choose the set of people whom are closest to you, whom you talk to, and whom you relate with. You need to choose them very carefully. If, there was once, well, in my university days here, I was looking for a job and I was going to get a cleaning job. And I met somebody, introduced me to a guy who was a fellow countryman. And when I met this man and we were talking about the job he was going to give me, it was a cleaning job. And I told him, please, could you give me, can I have the weekend off so that I can work on my school-related projects and all that? This man told me, what are you doing in school? Why should you be in school? I have a master's degree already and I'm still doing cleaning. Do you really need to do a master's degree in this country when you are going to end up cleaning? You don't need master's degree to clean. So stop telling me about education. If you tell me about education, I'm not giving you this job. Now, what that guy attempted to do at that point was to kill my morale. Like, whatever career path I'm going to be choosing is making me to feel like, hey, as long as you live in this part of the world, you don't think in that direction. Okay, now those are not the kind of people you want to be hanging out with. That is the first thing you need to do in terms of, the first thing you need to do is to renew yourself, renew your mind. Believe that whatever career path you choose, if whatever part of the world you are living in, whatever your career path, you can make it to the top. Believe that. Secondly, change your circle. Change the people who are sitting around you. The kind of people that tells you that, hey, nobody here in this part of the world that did master's degree that has gotten a job in any big corporation that has done anything meaningful with their master's degree. Avoid those kind of people. Yes, we need the right set of people to be able to conquer this career-related prejudice. Okay? And then, thirdly, figure out that career path, the things that the people who are making it, the people who are progressing in your career path, your chosen career path, the people who are progressing there, what are they doing differently from you? What are they doing differently from you? What is it they have that you don't have? And how can you have those things that they have and you don't have? Firstly, your attitude matters. Your attitude matters a lot. I was visiting one of my uncle in the UK a couple of years ago. That man has been living in the UK since 1983. That's about 38 years. He's been living in the UK for about 38 years. And I lived in his house for about 2-3 months in London. And I was surprised that my uncle doesn't have one single white British friend. Or even a black British friend, he didn't have one. All of the friends that he had, they were fellow Nigerians living in the same neighborhood. Those were his friends. All right? You did not leave your country, your comfort zone, to come to where you are today because you want to come and start a kind of reunion organization. That wasn't what you were, that's not what you were hoping for. Now, for you to be able to make a turnaround career-wise, wherever you find yourself, you need to surround yourself with the natives. With the natives of that environment where you find yourself. Establish some valuable relationship with some of these folks. I'll give you an example with my own experience. I was in a vocational school here at some point, and I'm a part-time musician, and most times when I'm in class, I couldn't hide that my part-time life. I couldn't hide it. So people knew this guy is into music and all that. And then there was this Christmas, there was a Christmas period, and the school was going to organize a kind of a Christmas concert. And they were looking for singers to join the choir. One of my teachers recommended me to the school priest that I have a guy who is one of my students, and he's a very good singer, he's a musician, and you might need his help. And then they contacted me and said, hey, come and join us and this. And you know, initially I was reluctant, like, hey, a Finnish Christmas concert. I've never been involved in anything like that my whole life, and I felt like my kind of music, the kind of gospel music I do, is different from what their gospel music look like. I won't be able to express myself as I would love to. But they kept on pressing me that they needed me. They've not had me sing. They kept on pressing that they needed me. And I just thought to myself, like, hey, guy, you've been in Finland. At that point, I had been in Finland already for about 5 years. And I just thought to myself, hey, guy, since you came to Finland, the only people around you, they are fellow Nigerians like yourself. The only people that you've done musical things with, they are fellow Nigerians like yourself. So you are really nowhere. You are nowhere. You didn't come to Finland just to be friends to Nigerians. You should be friends with the Finnish. Interact with the Finnish society, musically, career-wise. Interact with them. And then I just spoke with the priest, and I told the priest that, yes, I was ready and I wanted to be a part of the choir. I took part in the rehearsal, which was for about 6 weeks, and we went for the concert. And somehow after the concert, I started getting calls from Finnish people, highly placed music professionals. I started getting calls from them. Hey, I have concert on this day. I want you to be the main vocalist. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. At some point, I got on a very big project with a massive Finnish organization. I got on that project where we recorded a big music, and I was everywhere on TV all over Finland. Everybody knew me. The only reason I got that breakthrough was because I decided to do something with the Finnish society, with the Finnish people. I know people here who has been in Finland for 10, 15 years who doesn't understand a word of Finnish. Those kind of people can never break the barrier of career prejudice. They can never. And it's not because I'm not condemning anybody, but this is logical. It is the reality. Okay? If you go into a career path, and this career path is dominated by this set of people, you need to try as much as you can to establish a durable and valuable relationship with those people. Now, I'm an IT professional now, by the grace of God. I'm an IT professional. And I got into this field with the help of a Finnish friend. I got this opportunity to be in an IT environment, working as an IT professional, from a Finnish friend who just called me and said, hey, Lanre, how are you doing? What are you doing now? What kind of job are you doing? How do you think I can help you? Now, this same Finnish friend was one of the musicians in the concert that I spoke about a while ago. He's a musician as well, and he was playing the keyboard in that concert. He picked interest in me. He just liked me. And since then, that concert happened in 2012. That's 9 years ago. Since then till now, that guy has made it a point of duty to check on me from time to time to see that, hey, is this guy happy? Is he doing well? Is he where he wishes to be? He has taken it upon himself. Now, you just imagine if I had turned down that opportunity to sing in that choir 9 years ago. So there is a strong possibility that I won't be where I am today. Change your mindset. Change the people around you. And that community, that locality where you find yourself, immerse yourself into them. If you are living in Portugal and you've chosen a career path, make it a point of duty within the next 1 or 2 years, you want to start speaking Portuguese. If you are living in Somalia, and you want to choose a career path there so you prosper in that career path, make it a point of duty to learn the Somali language. If you go to the eastern part of Nigeria to do business and you really want to flourish in that your business, you need to, if you speak Igbo, even though you are maybe you are an Hausa person or you are a Yoruba person from any other part of Nigeria, if you speak Igbo to an Igbo person to buy your product, that person is, if that person knows that you are not an Igbo person and you are speaking that language, that persuades that person to patronize you. Okay? So, you would not be presenting yourself. Let's take Finland as a case study, for instance. You would not be presenting yourself worthy to a recruiter if the recruiter understands that you've been in Finland more than 5 years and you cannot express yourself basically in Finnish. You would not be presenting yourself properly. That recruiter will think, okay, this person has been here for this long. He doesn't respect our culture. He doesn't think he should learn our language. So why should he be working in our organizations? These things are not spoken about. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about these things, but it forms the basis for which they choose whom to accept or whom to reject. My manager at my current workplace is an Italian. Have lived in Finland according to him, he has been in Finland for over 18 years. Speaks very fluent Finnish, working in a massive Finnish organization, and he's a manager. He has up to all of us working under him, we are about 20, 25. He's a foreigner like you and I. The only reason why he would have progressed through that career ladder would be because he has accepted Finnish culture as his culture, and he has done his part. He has played his part. He has paid his dues. If you have not paid your dues in that environment where you find yourself, yes, integration is the key. Thank you, Dr. Deborah. Integration is the key. Integration is one of the most important keys in which you would use to break career prejudice. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Now, adding to that, there are skills in Finland that you would acquire, and when you apply for a job, nobody can turn you down. Nobody can turn you down. For you to start breaking that career prejudice that has been disturbing your career path, for you to start breaking it, you need to first of all choose to integrate yourself into the society and start seeing yourself as one of them. All right? If you don't interact with them, if they are not part of your day-to-day life, I'm using Finland as a case study now. I'm not restricting my topic to Finland. This applies everywhere in the world. Okay? If you are living in Finland, and if your circle, if your network, if you have a very strong network of Finnish professionals, if you have Finnish professionals in your network, you would easily be accessible to information that an ordinary foreigner would not be accessible to. Okay, so if I look at your WhatsApp chat history, if I look at the first 10, and if 9 of the first 10, if they are your fellow countrymen, then you are not even thinking of how to break this barrier. You are not thinking of it, of how to overcome this prejudice. It is a deliberate and intentional approach. When you go to, I have my big brother here. I'll use him as an example. He was worshiping in one of these African churches here in Helsinki. He was worshiping there. And at some point, he was even appointed as the youth leader. Now, when he was going to start building his career path, the first thing he did was that he left that church. There was no beef, there was no fight with anybody. He left that church and went to a Swedish church and started worshiping in a Swedish church. When he got to the Swedish church, he enrolled to start learning Swedish. He started learning Swedish, and when he learned Swedish to some extent, he applied for a citizenship. Okay, so that Swedish church where he was worshiping then, they were preaching in Swedish. The daily booklet they share in the church, they are in Swedish. By worshiping in that Swedish congregation, he met some really, really rich and prosperous Swedish businessmen. And when they knew his intention of wanting to apply as a Swedish Finnish citizen, one of them adopted him as that man became his mentor. The first professional job he got in this Finland was through that process. So, if you look at him and compare him to his friends, his peers that were in that church together for that long, even if those people finally made some progress, some little progress in the future, but he left them behind and he was far ahead of them because of the choices that he made. Okay? He left them behind because of the choices that he made. So the choices you make of the people you surround yourself with, those things are going to help you on how you can overcome career-related prejudice in this part of the world and in every other part of the world. I was working in the UK for about 2-3 years. I got into a role where I was the only person of color in that organization. I was the only person of color. There was no other black person in that office. Now, the things that I was doing there were far lesser than what I could actually do. And even when I made them understand that I could do more than this, these people that you are putting ahead of me, they can't even do half of what I'm doing. I made a deliberate intention, a deliberate choice to present myself to them and let them know that, hey, if you are underrating me, if you are making me a victim of prejudice, it is at your own loss. I can do a lot better. I can bring more value to this company than the people whom you've placed ahead of me. One of them liked my confidence and decided to give me a go-ahead to do 1 or 2 things that I thought I could do. And when I started doing it, some people became a little bit threatened that if they allow me to continue this thing, they might lose their relevance. And the spotlight might shift from them and come on me. And then they started making a hell of noise. Hey, he's downloading too many softwares. He's downloading this, he's doing this. No, we have to stop it. And then I just came and they asked me to stop. And when they asked me to stop, I actually lost motivation for the job. I wasn't doing as much as I was supposed to do. And at some point, a new manager was hired. And the manager saw my CV and called me and said, hey, these are the things I see in your CV. Do you really know these things? Or you've just used them to to pad up your CV? I said, I know them. Okay, could this be the reason why you have not been happy that you could do this and they are not allowing you to do it? I said, yes, that is a major reason. I said, if I provide you the opportunity to do this thing now and show yourself to the whole of this organization that this is whom you are you ready to do it? I said, yes, I'm ready to do it. And then this new manager, an amazing person, provided me the platform to show what I could do. And I started doing that. Okay, I started doing that, and when I finished the first module of the code that I was writing and I forwarded it to her, I forwarded the report to this manager. You need to see how she was jumping around the office, telling everybody, this guy is a star, this guy is this guy is that, this guy is this guy is that. Now, at that point, the organization had already contacted a third-party organization to come and train the staffs in that company on my skills, the skills that I know. Okay? The organization had already hired people to come and train us on those things. And when I demonstrated these skills to them, the company had to cancel that contract and now they now appointed me to take the course, to take the training on all of my colleagues. These are the people that were acting funny towards me, that were making me a victim of prejudice. Now, at the end of the day, they had to sit down and listen to me talk. They had to sit down and listen to me teach them. Okay? The knowledge that they have doing what they are doing in that company today, they got it from me. Now, if that manager had not come and given me the platform, or even if the manager had just bought into what they told her, maybe she would have fired me without even getting to hear me speak. All right? But she was wise. She interviewed me. She investigated things for herself, and she saw what was really going on. Now, if they had fired me, probably the people that were contacted to come and train these people would have done the job and trained them very well. No doubt. Okay? They could have trained them, but it would have cost the company some money. A lot of money. Because all of us that were coming to train, we were about roughly 15, 20 people. So now I do those kind of training for people nowadays, and I charge them cheaply, as good as nothing. I charge them about 1,000 euros. And cheaply is like a giveaway at that price. So imagine how much that company will be paying those people that were coming to train these guys. Imagine how much that company will be paying them per head. It would not be less than 3,000 to 4,000 euros per head. So multiply that by 20, 4 times 20, that would be like 80,000 pounds. For something that I actually ended up giving them for free. So that was what I told the organization at that time. Like, hey, I'm better than these guys you place ahead of me. And if you are keeping me behind these guys, it is at your own loss. You are the one that is losing, not me. Because if I start applying for a job today, I will get a job. I'll get a better job somewhere else. Another nugget, another tip for you to overcome a career-oriented prejudice is that you never look down on yourself. Don't ever underprice yourself. Don't let anybody talk you down that you are less than whom you are. If you know your value, please show it. That is not arrogance. If you know your value, show it. If you show your value and they don't accept it, it means they don't have value. They themselves, you shouldn't be working there in the first place. You should not be working there in the first place. It means you accepting their offer, working there in the first place was a mistake. So don't ever look yourself down. By the time I was training these guys, when they asked me to train them, by the time I started training them, I had already started throwing my CVs out for another company. And I had already gotten another offer. 2 other companies were already calling me, come and work for us, come and work for us. You know? So the reason behind this is that I never saw myself less. I never saw myself less. Even when I started this career path, when my knowledge was just about 10-20%, I still believe that I can get in there. When I get there and I'm talking to, my first job I got in Finland here when I was talking, after the interview, what the interviewer told me was that, hey man, I like your spirit and I like your confidence, and these are the kind of people we need here. At that point, they didn't offer me the job, but when the interviewer said that to me, I knew that they would call me back for that job. I knew it very surely. And really they did, they called me back for the job. You have to always believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you would always be a victim of career prejudice. You should always believe in yourself. If your first effort knocks you down, please stand up again and keep going. Okay? Quitters never win, and winners, they never quit. Please, I know you're not hearing this. You're not hearing this quote for the first time. Quitters, they never win, and the winners, they never quit. Don't quit. Keep the fight. Keep developing yourself on that career path. You graduated. I graduated from the university in 2010 here in Finland. I graduated in 2010, and I didn't get my first professional job, my career professional job, until 2016. Yeah, and that was like 6 years. Okay, now when I went to the UK, I was going to start looking for a job based on the degree that I got in 2010. And I suffered really, really badly. The kind of jobs that they were offering me were really crazy. Those kind of jobs that I wouldn't even do back home in Africa. Those were the kind of jobs that they were offering me. And someone had to talk to me at some point like, hey, a software that was developed 10 years ago in 2010, if you don't regularly update that software, improve that software, at some point it's going to become redundant. It's not going to be useful anymore. A degree you secured 10 years ago, you cannot be trying to use it. You cannot be trying to use it to secure a career job, a dream job in 2016, 2017. You need to do some other things. You need to upgrade yourself. You need to develop yourself. There are so many IT-related courses you can do online within 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Certification, get this certificate and push it, throw it around and start using it to apply for a job. Okay? If you've graduated 3, 4, 5 years back, there are so many other people that graduated the same time as you. They are competing for the same job with you. There needs to be a reason why you would be relevant, why somebody will still look at your CV and would never be able to turn you back. And that depends on how much you are investing in yourself. You study business management, marketing, go and do 1 or 2 certification courses relating to IT. Okay? Go and do something relating to project management. Go and learn agile software development methodology. Go and do some other training and upgrade yourself and build yourself, so that whoever looks at your CV and turn it down, you would understand that that person has problem upstairs. At this point, if I should highlight the tips that I've shared with us here about how you can overcome career-oriented prejudice, the first one is, what was the first one I mentioned again? Okay. Yeah, believe in yourself. Renew yourself. Yes, thank you. Renew yourself. Renew your mind. Don't think that the people who are up there, they are better than you and they are meant for there and you are meant to be down. You need to change that mindset. The people who are up there are not better than you. They don't have 2 heads. They were conceived the same way you were conceived. They were born the same way you were born. Okay? They drink the same water you are drinking. Nothing makes them different. The only difference between you and them is that they've worked on themselves, they've developed themselves, and they've changed their mind, and that's why they are there. The second tips I've shared tonight is that your network, you need to change your circle, change the people around you, change the people whose opinion that you value mostly. Make it be the kind of people who has been up there in the place where you are aspiring to be. Change your networks. I'm not saying you should do away with your friends, your fellow countrymen. That's not what I'm saying. Okay? If you are being surrounded by only your countrymen, if you've been working with the same set of people for over 10 years, if you've been working with the same set of people for over 10 years and you've not changed, nothing about your life has improved, that is an indication that you need to change those people very quickly. Very quickly. Change that circle very quickly. Otherwise, another 10 years, you are still going to be where you are. And again, I'm not condemning you. I'm only challenging you. Change them. The third thing you need to do, the third one you need to do is integrate yourself into that environment where you find yourself. Don't isolate yourself from them. If you are in Finland, if you've been in Finland for over 3-4 years and you still cannot speak Finnish reasonably, at least to express yourself, it's a shame. Please pardon me, don't take this personal, but it is the truth. It's a shame. If you've been living in Portugal, living in Philippines, living in any part of the world where the language is different from your own language, if you lived in that environment for more than 4 or 5 years and you still cannot express yourself, like you can go into the shopping mall and go into the supermarkets and communicate with the language to buy what you want to buy. If you can't do that after 3-4 years of being in that environment, it's a shame. Integrate yourself into that society deeply, deeply, deeply. Don't ever take any relationship from those people, from the natives in that environment. Don't ever take it for granted. Don't ever take it for granted, particularly in the Finnish scenario. The younger brother of the Finnish president might be your next door neighbor. It's not like Africa where we come from, where the families of people in power, they are living high. In Finland, everybody is equal. The younger brother of the president could be living next door to you. The mother-in-law of the first lady could be your classmates in the university. So, any of those kind of relationship where you meet with these locals, particularly with Finnish people, try to establish good relationship with them. Try to establish good relationship so that they start seeing you as part of them. Looking forward to meet with you and have coffee with you and all that. Build those kind of relationship. If you are in the United States, build those kind of relationship with Native Americans, African Americans. In Britain, don't let your best friends, your closest people, your network, don't let them be people only from your circle. Because even sometimes people that are from your circle alone, they can be very competitive with you and they would not want to share information that would make you grow bigger than them. Should I allow the speaker? Seriously, I'm talking from experience. Sometimes they would not want you to know what they know, so you don't start competing with them and getting bigger than them. But the natives in that place, it is very rare that you see them behaving like that. If they like you, they like you. If they like you, they like you. If they want to help you, they want to help you. So, establish valuable relationship with these people. On my LinkedIn page, all of my colleagues, my last job in the UK, all of my colleagues, they are on my LinkedIn page. And when I got my current job, when I updated my LinkedIn page, all of them, they made it a point of duty to send me a congratulatory message. And one of them told me specifically, Lanre, wherever you end up, they will be recruiting a genius. And I don't understand why they would address me as a genius, because majority of them, they were far better than me on the job. But for some reason, they just felt like they were losing, and wherever I end up, they will be gaining. And that relationship made the difference. All right? When I get into the office in the morning, the first thing I do, I make sure all of my colleagues, I go to their desk and say hello to them. Say hello to them. Some of them, maybe we are walking together from the door into our desk. I hold hands with them. Either they are guys or they are girls. I hold hands with them. How are you? How was your night? How are you doing? We are going to have a nice time at work today. I make sure I establish that kind of relationship. So whatever happens that I'm not in the office in a day, I get a call from all of them. Now, there is no how anybody would want to make me a victim of prejudice with this kind of attitude that I use to approach them. Many people understand these secrets. They do understand these secrets, and they are activating it with all their might, with all their strength. So that is about integrating yourself and establishing good relationship with the local community, with the locals. Please, Africa is not running away from you. If you are from Africa, Africa is not running away. You go back there at any point and you still have your fellow Africans to interact with. If you are from India, India is not running away. If you are from any other part of the world, you can always, when you want to mix up with your people, you can always mix up with them. But for the sake of your career, for now, please build your network around the local people, the locals. Build your network around them. Start learning their local language. Start speaking like them. Start acting like them. Make them start seeing you as one of them. These things are non-negotiable. We know we can pray and ask God to favor us and all that. God will do that definitely. But some of the things that God expects you to do, He would not come down to do them for you. He won't come down to do them for you. You have to do them for yourself. And finally, like I said, don't ever underestimate yourself. Don't let anybody talk you down. Don't talk yourself down. Always believe in yourself. Always believe whatever it is that you set your heart to do. If you are committed, if you are determined towards it, you will achieve it. You will achieve it. You got to do your part. You got to do your part. Non-negotiable. One bit. You got to do your part. So at this point, I will be willing to take questions if there's anybody that wants to ask a question. I'll be open to take your question now. I think there were some, I saw some things that looks like questions. Okay. I thought I saw some questions. Yeah. Work-related prejudice is in all parts of the world. It's not located, it's not restricted to any particular organization, or country. No. How should this category act? They are living in the country where they speak the same language. They are living in the country where they speak the same language, but still experience work-related prejudice. Another category is a citizen, local citizen, still experiencing work-related prejudice. Yes. Overcoming prejudice is not an overnight thing. It's not something that happens with a smack of the finger. It is a process. Okay? Prejudice has been and it will be. When we say you are surviving career-related prejudice, we are not saying that you are eradicating it from humanity or you are eradicating it from the world. No, you are overcoming it for yourself. Okay? This prejudice you don't control when it comes to you. You don't control who actually prejudge you, who makes you a victim of prejudice. You don't control it. But what you control is how you handle that prejudice. That is what you control. All right? If you speak the same language and you're still a victim of prejudice, keep pressing. Keep moving on. At some point, the ones that value you, they will take you and they will celebrate you. The whole point of this thing is that do not let the prejudice that you have experienced stop you from trying again. So you keep trying, you keep going. Okay? Now, prejudice does not end in a place where, okay, you apply for a job because of your skin color, because of one reason or the other, they are not taking you. All right? That's not, sometimes you might even be accepted on the job. You are on that career path, but then you are still experiencing prejudice there. In that case, like I did with like the example I gave with my job in the UK, I kept on selling myself. I kept on talking to the people that matters. I can remain where you want me to be, but you will be the one that will lose. You will be the one that will lose. That was one message I was giving them regularly. You will be the one that will lose. If you keep treating me this way, you will be the loser. Because I'll go out and get another job where I'll be treated better. And you might find it difficult to recruit somebody as good as me when I'm gone. Because if you are very good at recruiting good people, there is no how you'll be having these people that I'm seeing here that are not as skillful as myself. Okay? So if you keep treating me this way, I would go and you will be the one to lose. And at the end of the day, them changing their mind towards me saved them roughly 80,000 pounds. Okay, so when you are on the job already and you are experiencing prejudice, never give up. Keep selling yourself. You have a manager, you have people in authority that you can always just be telling them, I can do this. And if you continue and they continue like that, please find a place where you will be celebrated. Prejudice would only remain on this earth as far as the victims keep tolerating it. As far as the victims remains comfortable with it, it will remain. But if the victims stands up to it, oh, I cannot sit here and keep tolerating this kind of prejudice. I have to find a place where I will be celebrated. Okay, and if they really, like those guys were begging me to stay, when they see that another company has given me, another company has offered me a contract, they started begging me, please, we are going to increase your money, please stay. At that point, I had overcome that prejudice in the eyes of these people. When it gets to the point where they are begging you, please, we are sorry with the way we treated you, please stay and all that. You know, at that point, I had overcome it. If you are good, you are good. If you have the qualities, you have it. If you've invested in yourself, you've invested in yourself. If you invested in yourself and you see yourself as a victim of prejudice and you don't talk, it means you are comfortable with it, you are tolerating it. And nobody, if you don't stand up against it and fight yourself out of it, nobody will come and drag you out of it. You have to be the one to pull that trigger. You have to be the one to pull that trigger and say, hey, I cannot keep up with this. I need to make a difference for myself. I need to go on. All right? I would leave us with this example of a man that I admire so much. And every one of you, everybody watching me here now, you know the man very well. That man is Nelson Mandela. I have read his books, Long Walk to Freedom, from when he was born, how he grew up in the village, how he went to prison, all of his years of experience in prison, how he came out from prison and became the president of the first black president of South Africa. Now, one thing I understood in that literature that I read in Nelson Mandela's books was that when he was, fighting for freedom before he got arrested, there was this tag on him as a terrorist. They called him a terrorist. Himself and his colleagues that were jailed together, they called them terrorists. But today, in that same South Africa, the same white minorities that tagged him as a terrorist, they are celebrating him today as their hero. Okay? Even the white people that jailed him, he became their hero. How did he break that prejudice of terrorism? How did he break it? Okay? He came out from prison. He wasn't bitter at anybody. He wasn't bittered. And when he became president, instead for him to arrest and deal with the people that tortured him, made a mess of his family, instead of that, he recruited them and placed them in his cabinet, in his presidency. They worked with him all through. That was all right. I'm so sorry about that. My internet went down, and I think I've actually exhausted my time. So I want to believe I've answered all your questions, and I want to believe that this topic, this discussion today, has been covered adequately, and you got something out of it. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you again at some point. If you want to reach me, I'm on Facebook as Lanre Iwaleyin. Yeah, you can Ara Peralta part, and then I think you are my friend on Facebook, and on Facebook I'm Lanre Iwaleyin, and you can reach me on my email lanreikwesong at gmail.com. I'm a software engineer, and I'm also a software testing coach. So if you want to reach me, if you have further questions you'd like me to address and all that, I would be very glad to take your questions. So thank you so much, everybody. It's I'm humbled, Ara. I'm really humbled by your comment. Thank you very much. Let's do this again. I want to thank the executives of Ray Global Digital for giving me this opportunity to do this. Thank you very, very much. I am a very strong supporter of this vision, and I am very optimistic that in a couple of years from now, this vision would have traveled around the world, and the executives of this platform will be highly celebrated. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for your time, and I'll see you again. Thank you. God bless you all. Good night.